Alright, listen, yeah, we're on some weird break week thing. I don't even know what's going on. I'm exhausted. I have a headache. But this chapter was peak. I wasn't even going to make a review. I was going to wait until all the breaks were over. But it was so peak that I dragged myself out of bed. And I thought, yeah, I need to talk about it because it's peak. We have some reused panels in the first page, but we get a nice little, narrator statement that kind of tells us about why Chihiro's lightning turned black all the way back in the Rakizaichi. And it's something to do with burning through your life force. It kind of feels like I thought we were going down a sort of Black Flash kind of rabbit hole with this, but it's a bit different. Kind of it does seem to be a thing that happens, when you burn through spirit energy or life force or whatever very quickly. And it is why the Sword Saint is always kind of got this black sort of aura, and why all his spirit energy is kind of portrayed as this black gooey stuff is because everything within a range of him just gets life drained, and he genuinely just sucks all the spirit energy and life out of the things around him and uses it for himself, which is why the sword is so broken, because it just drains everything, and explains why the whole black thing is going on, right? Because he's just burning through people's life force. Bro, he's moving like Aizen. You know when the fodder walks up to Aizen in the chair and he just disintegrates, bro? He just turns into molten shit. That is what's going on with this guy. All right, screw infinity. All right, Gojo's got nothing on Akamura Soga. You step too close to this guy without a counter and you die. Simple as that. Samura is deadass the only reason those 5 bearers even had a chance back in the day. And in this chapter we learn that he surrendered. Bro, they didn't even beat him. They weren't even close to beating him. He just finished the malediction and was like, nah, I surrender, bro. It's fine, you can have me. But if Samura wasn't there, cooked. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna, listen, I love Uraha. I'm sure the other bearers are cool. But from this chapter alone, I don't think anyone's gonna ever surpass how much I love Samura. None of the other bearers will come close. I am watching this guy, who back in the day was fighting a 5v1 against Akamura Soga, yeah? He is now fighting on his ones as a support player against the Akamura Soga. He's just the GOAT. I don't know, sorry, Samura is just the GOAT, and he's probably dead, but whatever. Yeah, so basically, Chihiro gets completely fried by Soga, and Soga says to the both of them, he's like, look, civilians, how far have they been evacuated for? And Samura's like, yeah, probably 250 meters. Thank you, Shiba. And he's like, right, cool. Our arena will be inside this 250 meter radius. It feels very, Sukuna and Shibuya kind of thing. And then he's like, if you go outside that radius, then we have to kill ourselves. Cool, that's nice to know. But I told you guys, I literally said, there's no way that Soga is on board with the whole, killing civilians thing. He's not on the same shit as Yura, right? Yura was fine with using civilians as collateral damage. Soga isn't, and I'm glad we've cleared that up, because I really think that's going to be a very important distinction between those two. Anyway, we then get some amazingly cool panels of Chihiro just getting absolutely cooked, his shoulder gets sliced, and then Samura can't keep up his healing, because he's having to basically use Suzaku to prevent the lifesteal ability from draining his life. And then also, I think it's been used to burn, or later in the chapter it's used to burn Soga, which is either trying to burn him out of Yura's body, but I don't think that's possible anymore, or it's stopping him from augmenting his speed. Because as the narrator states, Soga's base speed, his base speed without augmentation, is on par with Samura's EI White Purity, and Samura is the fastest swordsman. So what has happened there? I don't even know, but it's mad. There's this really cool kind of fight scene. Samura's using his feathers, but Soga's reading into it. He cuts his hand off, but then, Samura's on top of that, and he just aura farms. They go into a building. Samura tells us about how his flames can't heal him because they're too busy fighting off the life drain. And then he just goes maximum output fire in order to, keep his healing up. He's burning everything in the building, including Soga. And yeah, but it's just chalked. Chihiro's kind of out for the count, but he is getting a little heal. Basically, it's cooked. Samura's there this is the moment we need right now. We can't kill him, but we can critically wound him if I, push my flames to the limit, because we're in the interval period, right? There's an interval when he uses Butterfly and Centipede, and they're in it. So he wants to finish this right now. Amazing single page of them both on fire, about to clash, and they clash in what is basically just a full-on Sakuga frame. It's a page of just, Mappa style, Sukuna vs. Jogo, Sukuna vs. Maharaga, Sakuga animation, because Hokuzono said, fuck it, bruv. Even I'm sick of waiting for this anime announcement. I'm just gonna draw it myself. So he's just given us a Sakuga manga panel. Some people won't like the style. I love it. I think it's dope. It's so cool. Just seeing them clash. You can see Soga bringing his sword back, ready for the strike. And then he basically just 236s Samura. If you know, you know. I'm not even joking. He stands over Samura's body, which is laid out just like Gojo, and he says, Mr. Samura, you are truly a spectacular sword fighter. Even more skilled than 18 years ago, you surprised me. That is the most, you are magnificent Sasuru Gojo kind of shot I've ever seen. And obviously in the previous chapters, we did learn that, Soga can kill the immortal Phoenix. So he's not dead just yet, but he's dying, and I think he's gonna be packed up pretty soon. Fortunately though, Chihiro is here to save the day, but before that, we actually get this really cold single page of Soga standing in what is effectively just a broken building that's levitating all around because Centipede is a gravity ability. So he has gravity manipulation, at least that's what we theorize. So it's really cool, he's got hella aura. And he confirms that the malediction was actually just one strike. With one stroke, that's how many lives he took. 250,000 in one stroke. Madness. Bro, no wonder they couldn't beat him 18 years ago. Like, this guy was just moving different. But I do think it's very clear to me, at least, that, like, we are now portraying Akamura Soga as different to Yura. They are two different people with two similar, yet very specifically different ideals. And I think that's where they're going to have a little bit of conflict, is Soga is so patriotic that he cares for all of the people in this country indiscriminately, whereas Yura doesn't care about having to sacrifice a few innocent lives to achieve his goal, which is the irony of Yura. I am very curious to see how that kind of works out between them in terms of cooperating, because I don't think Soga's really on board with what Yura be doing, and I think he's kind of one of the reasons why he took control was also to stop Yura from, you know, potentially harming innocent people. Anyway, yeah, Chihiro then gets spidered by Soga as he pulls up and just aura farms behind him, and I could not believe it when I turned the page, but Chihiro just locks in and steps outside of Spider. Like, Spider keeps you in place, can't do anything about it, but Chihiro just walked out because he's using Nishiki. He has opened the doorway to Entem's true realm, which is basically to destroy the enchanted blades, including Magatsumi. So it is the anti-Magatsumi blade. He's gone full on, like, full output Nishiki. Just straight up spiritual pressure diff, Aizen style, just diffed the spider. That was it. It was just, his reinforcement was so high that he just stepped out of it and mitigated the effect. It's amazing. And then they clashed and Soga low-key looked a little bit stressed. He's like, wait, why is he moving like this, bro? Why is the main character moving like this all of a sudden? Like, he looks a little bit caught off guard. And we get the confirmation that the N10 is specialized to counter the Magatsumi, which is so cool. We did kind of know all this, but it's cool finally seeing it in effect. The only thing I don't want to happen is for Chihiro to magically just be equal to Soga here. I don't think that's what's happening. I think he's just showing that he has the ability to overcome some of Soga's best moves. And I do really like the fact that Soga was surprised he ignored the spider. It's almost like most people can't do that. Maybe you can teleport out of spider, so there'll be some exceptions, but it does seem like based on Soga's reaction, you can't normally just, like, you know, stat diff it, which is what it seems like Chihiro did, and then honestly it's just hella aura. But yeah, I do see him still getting cooked, I can't lie. I don't see Akamura losing, ever, to anyone, to be honest. Put him in a ring with Goku. I'm just saying, you know, like, he's moving different. Akamura is just so cool. And it's really distracting you from everything else going on as well. Like, we're still waiting for a big flashback. We're still waiting to see what's going on with the Hishaku back in HQ. We're still waiting to see what's going on with Yura and, like, how that's gonna, you know, work out moving forward. There's so much on the board right now. And this insane fight with what feels like the final boss, like, it feels like a final boss fight. It feels like the end of the manga almost. This fight is distracting us from everything else. I don't think we're even halfway done with this manga yet. This feels very Shibuya incident-y, but it's just peak. It's just so peak. Like, it's just consistent peak. Anyway, yeah, sorry if this one was a bit, like, waffly or slow. I'm very tired and kind of sick and have a banging headache. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in a bit. Oh, and we're on a break week again. Ah.